Okay, so what is the best type of work experience to get if you're applying for a degree apprenticeship? Now, there are two types. I'm going to go over which one is better and also like actionable steps which you can do. I used this exact advice to get myself 8 degree apprenticeship offers last year. I've also been helping loads of people do this. We've got dozens of people offers from companies like Amazon, JLR, Rolls-Royce, Airbus, all that sort of thing. So this advice works. I'd recommend you follow it. If you want more information on degree apprenticeship, subscribe right now. But without further ado, let me get into the video. Let me explain the 2 types of work experience and explain which one is the best for you. Okay, so the 2 types are pretty simple: in-person and virtual, right? So a lot of people are asking me like, oh, I can get this one, but I can't get this one, but like, which one should I go for? That sort of thing. I'm gonna give you an answer probably not a lot of you want to hear, and that is the answer that in-person is better. Okay, but it's not as simple as that. In person's better. End the video right now, okay? Because it gets a bit more complicated, and I'm going to give you some ways at the end of this video how you can leverage this information to increase your chances in the application process. With an in-person work experience placement, it basically means you're going to be going somewhere. So an office or a site or a factory, a manufacturing facility, whatever it is, you're going to be going there in person in real life. So it could be like a one work placement where like Monday to Friday you go in, you work at the company, you meet the team, meet the employees, do real stuff, all that sort of thing. Or it could be like 2 weeks where you do that and you're going on site or you're going to the office, whatever it is, right? That is what in-person is, and it means you're going to get a very hands-on experience. That is what in-person is, and now virtual is basically where you'll be at home the whole time. So it's exactly the same. It could be 5 days, could be 2 weeks, could be 1 day, 3 days, whatever the length is, but it basically means everything you're doing is going to be online. That could be like going through like a specific website, or it could be like they're doing Teams calls, Google Meets calls, whatever it is. It's basically in-person, virtual, as the name suggests. However, the reason I say in-person is slightly better is for this one reason. When you're doing an in-person work experience, number one, you're going to be making relationships with real people. Okay, so because you're in person, you're actually meeting the team, you're actually seeing like the supervisor or whatever. You're going to make these relationships and you're going to make these connections. You're going to increase your network. This is going to mean that you are more likely to get the degree apprenticeship, right? Because you've made a relationship with these people. They know who you are. Potentially you're like on work experience with the person who could be your like hiring manager, right? The person who's like doing your interview or whatever. So it basically means they're going to see you better because they've seen how well you've worked in the work experience. There's a proper relationship there. Compare that to virtual work experience, where usually it's quite like anonymous. You're going to be just doing it whatever online. You're not going to be communicating too much with the team or like anyone who could be your hiring manager. So basically that's where you're not going to get those benefits of network and connections and that sort of thing. That's sort of just doing some standalone generic thing online. This is more being integrated with the team you could potentially get an apprenticeship offer from. And the second reason is the actual type of work you're going to be doing. So when you're doing an in-person work experience placement, you're going to be doing real work. Okay, they're going to have some work, which obviously it's not going to be anything like crazy like that you like 50-year-olds are doing, but it's like you're going to be getting like real work that they're going to give you, and you're going to do that during your work experience. It's going to be a really good experience. Compare that to virtual work experience. Usually it's not real work they give you. Okay, so when you do virtual work experience, it's either going to be like a load of videos and maybe like live calls you attend to like learn about things, or it's going to be some made up activity. So like whoever's setting up the work experience, they'll be like, okay, design a train station, and you'll get in groups, you'll design it, but it's not like a real design of a train station which you're going to be doing. Compare that to like in-person work experience. When I did my in-person work experience, I was doing real things. Okay, so I was like calculating how much concrete was going to be needed for this concrete pour. Like that was the real thing I was doing, right? Or I was actually getting involved in the concrete pour. I was also leading an audit of the traffic management. That was a real thing I did. Compared to some of the virtual work experience I did, where, as I say, it's like design a train station or write like a hypothetical report about how you would do whatever. That's a lot more hypothetical. This is real, okay? So that is why in-person work experience is better, because you're meeting the team, making connections. It means you're more likely to get hired, and also you're just getting better experience because you're doing real things as opposed to some like hypothetical thing that they've made up for you to do on Zoom or Microsoft Teams. However, the problem is people, when they understand this, when they understand that in-person is better, they think virtual is useless. They completely just bin off virtual and they're like, no need for it. I need in-person because in-person is the good thing. This is a load of rubbish. That is where people make the mistake. Okay? They're thinking like in-person is like the gold standard and virtual is like worth 5%. Like they're basically saying like in-person is 20 times more effective than a virtual work experience. That's completely incorrect, okay? Especially since COVID, when, of course, in-person work experience couldn't happen, everything had to move online. And even since then, I know several companies who used to do in-person work experience, they don't anymore. They've migrated all to virtual. Because of that whole landscape, companies understand that it's not as easy these days to get in-person work experience, okay? And this means that it's not the end of the world if you just have virtual, okay? Or if you have some virtuals, right? So like everyone's thinking, oh, this is the gold standard 100%, this is worth 5%, like this is 20 times more effective. It's actually not that at all. It's like, this in-person, yes, is better, it's the gold standard, it's 100%, but virtual work experience is more like 90% or 95%, right? So of course, I'm not gonna say, oh, don't ever do in-person, virtual's fine. No, if you get an opportunity to do in-person, 100% do in-person, but don't completely disregard virtual, and don't like get worried about it if you don't have the opportunity to do in-person. In-person is probably like 1.1 times more effective than virtual, or like 1.05 times. So of course, if you have the opportunity, do it. But if you can't, it's not the end of the world. You still need to value that virtual work experience is really useful. You're going to learn knowledge, you're going to learn skills, you're going to be able to put a really good company on your CV. You're going to be able to like think of like star-based questions, scenario questions. If you hadn't heard of them, you can check out the videos I've done on that. Virtual is still really useful. So just to summarize, there's two key things you can take away from this, okay? First one, of course, virtual work experience is useful, okay? Which is why I'm going to do a video explaining the best virtual work experience opportunities available right now. If I've already made that video, it's going to pop up on screen right now. Otherwise, make sure you go down below right now, click subscribe and click notify, and it means you're going to be notified when that video comes out. But I'm going to make that video because that's the first takeaway. Virtual work experience is really useful, so make sure that you check out that video. I'm going to give you all the best virtual work experience placements which you can do if you're looking to get into a degree apprenticeship at a big company such as PwC, Amazon, JLR, Rolls-Royce, whatever it is. Okay, now here is the second takeaway for this video, and this is probably the most important part of the video. This is like the most important thing you need to listen to, right? So yes, in-person is more difficult to get, especially since COVID, companies aren't doing them as much, right? That is the exact reason why you need to try as hard as you can to get in-person work experience, okay? Because now, most people are just gonna do virtual because like in-person is pretty hard to get, right? It's quite a lot of effort to get an in-person work experience. But here's the thing, this is an opportunity for you to like allow yourself to stand out from the crowd massively. Like this is, you can separate yourself hugely. Everyone else has just done some random virtual work experience, random course, sure, that has merit as I've just explained. But imagine you're the one person out of like 20 people who've applied, like 1 out of 20 for this one role in one location or whatever, and you're the only one with in-person work experience. You're going to stand out so much, okay? Don't just like take this victim's mindset of like, oh, there's no in-person work experience, oh, I can't find any, oh, companies aren't doing it because of COVID. Take some personal responsibility, okay? Degree apprenticeship application processes are ruthless and competitive. You need to attack it, okay? And the first method of attack is getting an in-person work experience. If you want me to film a video on how to get in-person work experience, just specifically on that, I will film that. What I want you to do right now is go down below and click the like button. If that's something you'd be interested in, you want like a full walkthrough on how to get in-person work experience specifically, you can go down, click the like button, and I will make that. I hope this video has helped you, and I hope it's explained the best types of work experience, like the pros and cons between virtual, between in-person, and now you know your strategy. Once again, just to summarize, your strategy is 100% do virtual because it's useful, but where possible, aim for in-person because in-person is the best type of work experience. Thanks for watching this video. Have a great rest of your day.